Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing, joining, etc., sharing around. Thank you for the positive people who have been sharing around. Those are the real changers, not the ones that say they're changers, but are really, they take no action. And you can sit and think about something all you want, but action is what leads to the becoming of the thought that you want to manifest. You take simple steps. And thank you for the positivity and the positive vibes. And other people, you can't put too much stock in people asking you what you're doing all the time. If that's the thing that you feel like you should do, if you want to be a pro athlete, if you want to be an astronaut, if you want to be on YouTube, whatever it is, and you get someone barking in your ear that you shouldn't, you should disengage from that voice, because whatever your inner and calling is supposed to be, that is what you're supposed to be. You don't listen to other people, you listen to you. If you think you're a good artist and you think you could paint and everyone's going to want to see your painting, get a brush and a canvas. Today's going to be a bit of a, not as much of a light subject, but kind of a what's going on in the world and how I think it's being played out again, as usual. It's amazing how the Bible had said it. For no marvel, Satan himself could transform himself into an angel of light. And all this virtuous stuff and moral grandstanding and people pretending they're fighting for whatever it is, justice or this or that, it's all under the guise of Satan. And I'm not talking about current events. I'm talking about events that have been going on since maybe the 70s. So it's very clear to see. And I wanted to read a poem to you. Now this poem is important because not only does it expound on the idea of Satan transforming himself into an angel of light, but it's written by Paul Harvey. It was written in 1960. And are we seeing it played out? And I always invite every religion and culture to join in with me in a discussion. But if you can't objectively see these things playing out, then you are figuratively blind. So, the poem goes like this. Well, the name of the poem is If I Were the Devil. If I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population. But I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree. You, or thee in the poem. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. Man. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square or boring. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting, so that everything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. Isn't that what's happening right now today? And especially about the authors. How do we see these authors, or how do we see these professors in these universities? If you can't see the peddling of one agenda, it's conformity. It's not inclusiveness at all. If you have a difference of opinion, you're an ist. There's an ist. There's a title next to you, and you're an ist. Something ist, this ist, misog, in ist. Whatever the ist is, you're an ist, right? So it's not tolerance and acceptance at all. And the schools and the universities are doing that work, and these professors should absolutely be ashamed of themselves. I dealt with it. I got a poor grade on a paper once because I kind of thought outside the box. So, whatever. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. Really. The minute current events died down, we were back to the C virus, and the minute the C virus is gone, we're back to the riot. You don't see the trend. If I were the devils, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but to neglect to discipline emotions. Because the most foolish decisions come from emotion, and that's the world we're living in. You hurt my feelings. I need to go to a safe space. Oh no, you can't say that. It might trigger someone's emotions. Enough with emotions and more with logic. And I would let those emotions run wild until before you knew it, you'd have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse and every door. Well, within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon could evict God from the courthouse, and then the schoolhouse, and then from the churches of Congress. In his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion. And what do we see? We see an atheist push for that. I would deify science. Again, there's science deified. Oh, how about that mollusk, though? That's the missing thing. And that's what's happening. They love to post those videos. How I turned this guy into an atheist. How he turned from his religious ways. And then they put the person on so they get their 15 minutes of fame, and they say, I couldn't believe I believed in this. I'm so glad I came to the truth. Ugh. As if you could possibly comprehend the truth. They don't know what the truth means. Science created by man. And it's of great use and great technology, but it was created by man. And how feeble-minded to think that you can understand the mind of God. You simply can't. You don't even know what God is. You can't comprehend it. And no, it's not my job to prove. If I were the devil, I would take from those who have and to those who want until I had killed the incentive of ambitiousness. Everybody gets a trophy. So they're, again, teaching you not to be ambitious. They want you to clock in, clock out, and leave. And they want to educate you to work. University is a fraud. It's a sham unless you are going to be one of like 4 professions: lawyer, nurse, teacher, and I'm sure I'm missing one, but there's what? Other than that, these are programs created to get you to sign and go in for 4 or 5 years, spend 50, 80, 140 grand, be in debt the rest of your life, and then find out that you need to know someone to get into the field that you want to work in. You cannot achieve it any other way. You need to know someone, period, the end. You need to know someone, period, the end. Look at the people on mainstream media today. Actually look at their credentials. They're not that great. I have some of their credentials. An English degree, a journalism degree. They knew somebody, or, I don't know, did something. I don't know what the something was, to get where they are. I mean, look at, when you see a trend too with news people and they all look, they have the bright smiling teeth and they have this and that. I don't know, it seems like it's more about aesthetics, which lead to ratings, than about actual brains. And what do you bet I could get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich? I would caution against extremes. And again, anyone outside of that little framework, too extreme. And hard work and patriotism and moral conduct. And now, in the United States, if you are a patriot, it somehow got conflated with the word nationalism. Patriotism is the pride for country. Nationalism has the word nation in it, meaning you are proud to be a part of this nation. If you're not proud to be a part of this nation, well, there's other nations that you can go to. But you see how it is? It's flipped. So you can be proud, the minute you're proud to be a part of the United States, oh, don't be proud. And I don't mean it in the sense of the Bible where pride is the fall of you, but I'm saying, when you build something with your own two hands, and you've been working at it for several hundred years, and we live in the greatest country for now, which is slowly trying to be it's being eroded. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, no one's getting married anymore, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. How often you talk to someone and literally their arguments for whatever the social ills are literally the exact talking points of one of the mainstream media outlets. And thus I could undress you in public and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there are no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I would just keep right on doing what he is doing. So, that's it. Seems like that poem hits it on the head with what's going on. And if something goes against your beliefs that's in the popular stream that like the mainstream or the celebrities are pushing, it's okay if you get infringed on. But if you say, you know what, I don't believe in something that's being pushed, then you suddenly are the problem, I guess. So, anyways, yes, Satan has flipped the whole thing upside down, turned it upside down on its head, and it'll be interesting to see what becomes of it, I guess. I can tell you, there's no doubt in my mind that the Antichrist is here, has been born, and is walking the earth. I can't give any more detail on that, but that's what I think. Anyways, sorry for the somber tone today, but the poem that Mr. Harvey wrote seems to be what's happening. May God bless you and your families in Jesus' name.